Hey guys, Matthew Lippert back here with another recipe. Hey, I'm going to do this fancy sandwich. It's called a Croque Madame. You're probably thinking, a what, a who? It's a Croque Madame. It's a French sandwich. I like to call it a grilled ham and cheese sandwich on steroids. It's covered with a nice bechamel sauce, a white sauce on top, covered with a couple of, topped off with a couple of eggs. I'm going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to start out with this. I'm going to make this bechamel sauce here. Inside, and then we'll go outside to assemble and put and grill the sandwiches. But before we get started, go ahead and smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, will you? That helps make this thing all go around. Well, I'm over 1,000 subscribers now. Appreciate everybody tuning into my channel. Those that are brand new to my channel, appreciate you tuning in. But hit that like button, share these videos, will you? And if you have any questions about this recipe, go ahead and throw those in the comment section. I'll comment back and answer your questions as appropriate. And let me turn this camera around. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm going to cook this bechamel sauce first. I've got I'm cutting this in half. I've made this before, and this recipe with this bechamel sauce, you can pretty easily cover 5 to 6 of these sandwiches. I'm only going to make 3 sandwiches today, so I'm going to cut this in half. So I'm going to start with a 1/4 pound of butter. I'm going to, in the description, I'm going to put the full recipe, and then if you want to cut it in half, you can. 1/4 pound of butter, which this half stick here is a 1/4 pound of butter. I have it right here in a bowl. Get this in the pan. I'm going to get this cooking on a low heat with some peppercorns. And I've got the recipe calls that, as I saw, it calls for 8 peppercorns. You can put however many you want. I'm putting like 6 peppercorns in here, whole peppercorns. We'll strain those out later. And we're going to get this started to melt. Once the butter is melted, which is almost melted, kind of whisk it around. And then we're going to add just under a cup of AP flour. And you want to whisk that around at the same time. And just kind of incorporate that into this melted butter. And get it all thickened up. Once it begins to turn a light brown, then we want to add in a quart of milk. Add that milk into it, and then we'll continue to whisk, get everything incorporated. You can use whatever kind of milk you want. We typically buy the 2% milk just because that's what my wife likes. So we don't buy anything special for this. So if you prefer whole milk, use that. If you prefer 2%, 1%, or any other kind of milk that you want, use whatever you want to use. And then we're going to get this kind of cooking in here and get everything combined. We're going to, we want to cook this basically until we have all the starch, all that kind of taste out of it. And I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I've got some nutmeg here we'll add in later, right at the end. And we'll strain these peppercorns out when it's all done. But we want to get this thickened up a little bit. As it starts to warm up, we'll get the rest of that butter off this spoon. That butter is so good, we can't waste none of that, right? This has a lot of butter in it. It's a fairly rich sauce. Just like with anything that we're using flour, we want to cook it and combine it enough to where it doesn't taste like flour. I'm going to let this kind of cook here a little bit, and then we'll be back here in just a few minutes. You want to use a spatula to kind of scrape the bottom of this pan. You don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan. And say just keep this up as this begins to thicken. Kind of the same premise as making a gravy. That flour serves to thicken everything up. And as it gets a little bit thicker, you want it pretty close to the consistency of a gravy, maybe a little bit thinner, but not like the consistency of the milk that you poured in there. But you don't want it overly thick either. You want to be able to pour down over top of the sandwich and just kind of cascade over the edge of it. So let me continue to cook this through, and I'll be back. I let this set just a few minutes because I wanted you to see if you don't continue to stir it, it will begin to cake up on the bottom. Similar to a gravy, you got to keep a gravy moving or it will do the exact same thing. So you have to remember this is a flour mixture, so you just want to keep it, you don't want it to all gum up on the bottom. You want the whole thing to thicken up as a unit. And so you want to keep it moving, and that keeps this from happening. I did that on purpose because I wanted you to see what happens if you don't keep this moving and scrape the bottom of that pan, like I had mentioned earlier. As long as you do that, it stays pretty good and you don't have much to worry about. Okay, I've got 6 slices of this sourdough bread, and you want to put a very liberal amount of butter on one side of each of these pieces of bread. You want to go coast to coast. You want to make sure that you don't miss any. Get that butter on every part of that bread. Do this with all 6 of these pieces, and this is going to make 6 sandwiches. Because if you don't get the butter all the way to the end, you're going to notice gaps. I'm going to go ahead and put that on top of that one. Otherwise, I'm going to run out of plate room here. If you have areas where you don't have it all the way to the end, then it's not going to brown and crust up and crisp up like you want it to. So you want to have it all the way to the edges. If you hear any funny noises in the background, we have our 9-month-old great-grandson and my granddaughter living here, and it's hard to get a 9-month-old to be quiet sometimes. So, and sometimes we just have to deal with that, and it is what it is. As they get a little older, you can train them and teach them to be quiet, but at 9 months old, it's they don't really understand that very well. So forgive any noises you might hear. This microphone is sometimes more sensitive than I'd like it to be. I actually did this recipe, a video on this once before, and I didn't this before I was using a microphone, and I didn't have that, so it was really hard to hear. I went back and watched it, and it's like, man, that's a horrible video. So I decided to do an updated video with a microphone so that you guys can hear me without it sounding like I'm mad and yelling at everybody. So that's, if you happen to see my other video with this sandwich and wonder why I'm doing an updated one, that's why. Because, well, the more of these things that we do, the more we learn, and we get to a point where we obviously make changes and we become better at our craft. So that's that. And now I'm going to get everything, I'll reset outside in front of the flat top, and we'll assemble these sandwiches and start cooking it. Okay, now I'm out here to grill. Now, in case you were wondering why I call this a grilled ham and cheese on steroids, you're about to find out. A true Croque Madame, if you research it, it has ham, it has Gruyere cheese. Well, I just use the cheese I have. I'm using a combination of Swiss and cheddar, a piece on each, and I'm using ham and turkey. So I'm going to start by taking this piece of bread, throw that on the grill. One piece of cheddar, one piece of Swiss. Maybe I just break this in half so it doesn't hang over the edge so much. Piece of ham, a piece of turkey, another piece of ham, and another piece of turkey. And then I'll put the other bread on. Whoops, wrong side. Ah, dang it. Okay. Then the next one. Same thing. Piece of cheddar, a piece of Swiss. Get my ham in here. Do a turkey. Do another ham. Do another turkey. So I'm doing 2 pieces of cheese, 2 pieces of ham, 2 pieces of turkey. And then, oops, I almost put that thing upside down again. I've done that before. It's not the first time I've done that. Same thing here. We'll go there. There. Piece of ham. You got to move it kind of quick here because it's this first one may be time to flip already. We'll find out when I get done here. My next second piece of turkey. Get my paper towel, clean my hand off. Get this other piece of bread over here. And now we're going to check this one to see how it's coming. That one's good. It's kind of a dance to flip it because there's a lot there to flip. So that one's done on that side. That one's done on that side. This one will be just a few more minutes. They don't take long to cook. The cheese is already melting. And these are going to go in the oven under the broiler. You'll see when we get back inside. So if the cheese isn't completely melted, the time we get the bechamel sauce on it and everything done that way, it will be melted. The first time I made this for more than just my wife and I was talking about this sandwich, and our oldest son said, how many we're going to make a piece? I said, I'm just making one a piece. He goes, you think that's going to be enough? I said, yeah, trust me, it'll be enough. And of course, when I finished, we finished eating, and I said, well, is that enough? He goes, yeah, that's plenty. You can see this is a big sandwich. I know my wife won't eat it all. I'm sure my granddaughter won't eat it all. I'm not 100% sure today I will eat it all. It is a massive, massive sandwich. I'll leave that one a little bit longer. But like I say, if you wondered why I call it grilled ham and cheese on steroids, now you know. I mean, it really is like a grilled ham and cheese on steroids. Let me back these up there a little bit. Get them more on the heat. But they are a challenge sometimes to flip everything, get everything like that. But this sandwich is well worth it. It's just an amazing sandwich. And like I say, we'll pour that bechamel sauce over top of this thing. Stick it on the broiler, under the broiler. There, that's good on that one. Good on that one. This one may need a little bit more. Yeah, just a few more seconds. Actually, I might flip this one over and get a little bit on this side. It didn't get quite as brown on this side. But that's the sandwich. This is the easy portion of it. The hardest part about this sandwich, first of all, is the preparation, getting all the ingredients together. Because this is something that, let's face it, most people aren't going to make every day. I make this sandwich probably once every couple of years. There's a lot to it, and the bechamel sauce is a whole lot more than this. I mean, a guy could make a sandwich like this any day of the week, but the whole Croque Madame experience has to do with the bechamel sauce and everything else. So it's quite an undertaking just for a sandwich. There, perfect. All right, let me shut this off, and let's move back inside, and we'll continue in there. Okay, I'm back inside. As you can see, I've got a pan here cooking with 6 eggs. I've got that on a very low heat. I'm going to cook those slow. I want those to be over easy. I've got my bechamel sauce here. I had to add a little bit of more milk to it. Just like with the gravy, if it gets too thick, you add a little bit of milk to it. I'm going to dump it into this other pan through this strainer so I can get the peppercorns out. Nobody wants to bite into a whole peppercorn. That might be kind of nasty. So get everything cleaned out here as much as you can. Unfortunately, dirty is another pan, but not much you can do about it. And then this stuff is pretty thick, so you want to force it through here with your spatula, because you don't want to lose any of this bechamel sauce. It's just so stinking good, especially over top of this sandwich. There's my peppercorn. Some of them been in there long enough, they're even getting soft and coming apart, but you want to get as much of that as you can. And there's my bechamel sauce that's going to be poured over top of the sandwiches. I've got my oven on broil, and these eggs are going to take a while because I've got them on low heat, because I don't want I want a true sunny side up. I want the whites cooked, but I don't want the yolks hard. So now I've got my 3 sandwiches on a sheet pan here. So now I'm going to take this, pour it over top of here, get everything nice and covered. Go to the next one. You see, this is why I wanted it a little bit thicker. You don't want it to all run off. You get some of it running off. I don't have enough room there. You don't want all of it running off, but you want it to kind of stay on there too. So some of it cascades over the edge. And if you have a little bit of bechamel left over, that's okay. This is one of those things that's better to have too much than not enough. And then you can always sop up some of this stuff out of the sheet pan to put on the top of your sandwich as well. I'll set this aside. And then the sandwich is going to go in under the broiler. The sandwiches. And we'll get that nice and brown. I'll monitor that pretty closely, because we don't want it to be black. We just want it to be brown and crispy. So that shouldn't take too long. The eggs are starting to cook. I'm cooking those in butter. Like I said earlier, this is a very, very rich sandwich. If you don't like a very rich sandwich, this probably isn't the sandwich for you. I don't eat like this all the time, fortunately. A guy can't eat like this all the time, but every once in a while we like to have a little treat and have a nice, kind of something special. So today's our day to have something special, and we'll enjoy it. Let me let these eggs cook, and I'll come back in a few minutes when the eggs are done and the sandwiches are out of the broiler. Okay, apparently my broiler doesn't work extremely even. It should have browned it more evenly, but that's okay. I'm going to take one of these, pick it up, put it on the plate, and then we can always add some more of that bechamel sauce in a little bit. Let me find something to put this on. so I don't make a mess. My eggs are cooking here. And find a couple of these that are done. Put one egg on there like that. One egg on the other end. There, my friend, is a Croque Madame with a bechamel sauce. You had some background noise here. This house, if we don't keep air moving right and the blower on, sometimes this goofy smoke alarm goes off and just goes crazy. So I went ahead and turned my exhaust fan on here, and I'll leave that on. Just finishing up here. So there's our Croque Madame, and here in just a minute I'll reset the camera. Actually, I'll do it right there. I'll cut into that thing and I'll show you how that egg just breaks all apart and comes out really nice. And in fact, let me do that now. Get a fork. This is definitely a fork and spoon type of a sandwich. When you cut into that thing, that egg, that deliciousness just cascades over the top of that, all over. You got that goodness everywhere. This is an amazing sandwich. I encourage you to try it. So that's your Croque Madame. Let me go ahead and get these other sandwiches finished up, and we'll be back for the final thoughts. Okay, guys, there's that Croque Madame. I encourage you to try that sandwich. I finished all of mine. My wife and my granddaughter didn't finish theirs. They ate a little over half of it. It's a big sandwich. Now you can see why I call that a grilled ham and cheese on steroids. An amazing sandwich. You cut into that thing, that liquid goodness, that yolk of that egg runs all over everything. It's just so good. And so many different flavor profiles in that sandwich. But if you Google Croque Madame, you'll see the original Croque Madame has Gruyere cheese and has just ham. I added the turkey and I switched it from Gruyere cheese to cheddar and to Swiss, and that's how I changed it. If you change this up, if you make this recipe, change it up, leave it in the comment section how you changed it up. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button, will you? And share this video, like this video. Tell me what you like about this. Look forward to hearing the comments. Also, do me a favor, tell me what part of the country, what part of the world you're watching this from. It's always cool to see when people are watching from all different parts of the United States and from all different parts of the world. That's just an amazing for me to sit here and see people literally all over the world watching my videos. It's very humbling. But appreciate you tuning in. And remember, may God bless you and have a great day.